I guess speaking to the scenario specifically, if it comes with both of them, and I guess in this case, was Bridgewater back in your scenario,
Not
Alan?
yet.
Okay. Well, then you obviously need to see if he's your guy. You could franchise Bradford and bring Teddy back on the on a 1-year deal. Make him earn it in camp if you don't believe it in Bradford.
Would
Like,
that be possible?
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for the quarterback position.
Would you be able to spend that much money for two quarterbacks? And then there's other teams who are probably going to offer one of those quarterbacks a money deal. Like if I'm a team in the NFL and Bridgewater is a free agent and can sign, I'm gonna throw him some money. Even though he's only played 2 years, and even if he sat out this year and next year, I still think he has the potential to be a franchise quarterback somewhere, and someone else is going to have that same thought process, which is going to drive his price up. Are the Vikings going to be able to pay that and franchise tag Sam Bradford? That's a lot of money.
But then you speak to what people think of Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, that's Lintz's boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan as well. I'm a big fan as well.
I'm not.
I never was.
I mean, yeah, I think he's okay. I don't think he's as bad as most people say. Franchise quarterback is kind of strong, unless you consider franchise quarterback the quarterback of that franchise in a Joe Flacco kind of way. Then yes, I think of it from the point. I don't know
with the way that the league is doing the quarterbacks, and we've talked about this before. Everybody's price is inflated. No one agreed that Kirk Cousins should have got the money that he got. No one thought that Fitzpatrick should have got the money he got. You think Bridgewater would be in any different situation with the climate of the NFL? I don't think so. I think he still would be overrated.
Would you rather have Kirk Cousins or Ryan Fitzpatrick than Teddy Bridgewater? Like, if you had to build a team around a quarterback, would you rather have one of those two guys or him?
I'd rather have Bridgewater.
But y'all are acting like Teddy's going to be 100% healthy. Like, his leg just mangled. Like, his teammates were vomiting when they saw it. Right. Like, there's no guarantee he's going to ever come back the same either. So this is really
just quarterback, not a running quarterback. That's another thing. It's not like if it was to happen to Russell Wilson, where him using his legs is a major part of his game. Teddy Bridgewater, even out of college, people were comparing him to running quarterbacks, and he's never been that. He's
I'm not even doing
NFL pro style quarterback. Right. Even if his leg is hurt. Look at people like Carson Palmer. I shouldn't name.
Okay, it took Carson Palmer years. Years.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, again, he literally tore, what was it? His ACL. It was a complete tear of his ACL. Like,
yeah, that's a two-year thing.
Like, there's no guarantee. That's the thing with the speculations. Like, we can't guarantee he's gonna come back 100% healthy, and regardless
Sam
whether
Bradford has torn his ACL like 5 times.
Yeah, but he dislocated his kneecap and tore other ligaments. They won't disclose.
And tore other ligaments So, and even if he's not a running quarterback, you got to use your legs to drop back. What do you mean? Yeah. Like, you can't just you can't just teleport back there. You got to drop back. I mean, he got to use his legs.
You can't just say like, oh, well, he just won't be able to do anything the same. You got to think about it. This dude's a professional athlete. He's gonna be rehabbing for almost 2 years. And any other athlete, he's going to be able to play. You just don't know to what level. And that's where the speculation and potential of him will be. But he'll still only be, what is he, like 25, 26 years old tops at that time? I mean, I'm sorry, but in quarterback years, that's like him being 19.
Yeah, he's 20.
He can still start over. Like, when people are going to try to give him money, they're going to look at him and be like, even if he's not the best when we get him, in 3 to 4 years, he's still going to be in his prime.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think okay.
It's different than with somebody like Fitzpatrick, who's a little bit older, and you're like, okay, well, he might not have too many more years left. But same thing with like Kirk Cousins. He's young enough that, hey, even if we pay him too much too early, he can still work his way to being what we wanted him to be. He doesn't have to do it right away.
For the record, Kirk Cousins was older when he got drafted than Bridgewater is right now. So let's not make it out like he's young.
Okay. Yeah. So
Sorry,
of course you had to bring Kirk. Yeah, of course you had to bring Kirk in there. Sorry.
And in 2 years, how old will Sam Bradford be?
30.
30? Damn, he's young too for all them injuries.
Exactly. That's
well, that's not old either though. But
it's not. But here's the thing.
It goes back to the same point. It's a very scary situation for the Vikings to be in.
I agree. Teddy completely tore his ACL. Completely done. Completely. Other ligaments as well. You're not a quarterback either. We appreciate your cornerback knowledge. We really do. But you're not a professional quarterback. My point is saying that.
Yeah, I use my leg more. Most people, Adrian Peterson tore his ACL as well. I mean, people tear their ACLs. The thing is, it's not a career-ending injury.
It wasn't just the ACL. Like, you're talking about a dislocated kneecap and other ligament damage.
Dislocated. That's probably the worst injury, the dislocated kneecap. Like,
the dislocated knee is different because that's going to make him, like, the way his knee bends and stuff might be effective long term because of that. The ACL is actually easy.
But then you talk about other people signing him, and his knee might not even move the same. Like, I don't understand.
It doesn't have to move the exact same for them to be effective. What you have to realize is that players adapt and they evolve. Just because I can't cut left as good as I used to doesn't mean I can't cut left. The thing is, you act like him hurting himself is career ending. And the thing is, that's an assumption that no one ever makes, is that it's a career-ending injury, but you made that assumption, and we still don't know anything about his rehabilitation. It's too early right now to make those assumptions. I'm assuming that he's going to respond like 90% of NFL players do after injury and be not as good as he was before, but be able to work his way back into it.
But is Teddy good enough to not be as good as he was before? I think that's what it comes down to.
Part of the 1% that doesn't ever come back after a knee injury. And the problem is, I don't know how you can get to that conclusion with no real evidence of that being the case. I know he tore more than his ACL, but that doesn't automatically mean that, oh, well, he's never going to be a good quarterback again. We don't know that.
But what I'm saying is, he's not in the sense of is he really a good quarterback now? That's the question. Like, it'd be different if he had an Aaron Rodgers talent level or Aaron Rodgers production, and then he tore it, and then his baseline is lowered. Teddy is about what, maybe a top 15 quarterback at his best?
Well, he's on an upward slope right now. Like, it's not like he's a top 15 quarterback and he's Kirk Cousins' age and he ain't going to get no better. We're talking about guys we were already excited about this season for.
Well, let me just change my view here and agree with you, AJT. Let's say that he's not as good as he was when he comes back, and we don't think he has the same potential. Are you saying that the Vikings will still be able to afford, even at a discounted price, him and Sam Bradford on the same roster? Once they both need to get new deals in the same year, you think that they're going to be able to afford both of those quarterbacks, even if Teddy Bridgewater isn't highly touted as what I think he is?
If I'm the Vikings, and this is going to sound rough, if Teddy doesn't show me he can't get back to where he was within a year, I'm letting him go.
How do you feel he walks away, goes to the Jets, goes to the Bills, goes to Cleveland?
Send him to an NFC team.
I can't think of an NFC team that's really hurting for a quarterback like that right now that he can make an impact.
I know, but we're doing hypotheticals, so I just feel,
Let's just say then.
Come to the Bears.
Let's say he comes to D.C. Let's say he walks away, comes to D.C. He's got Deshaun Jackson. He's got Josh Doxson. He's got what's left of Pierre Garçon at that point. He goes to the Pro Bowl, and you meet him in the playoffs. How do you feel?
I feel like y'all are being unreasonably optimistic here, and aren't even looking at the other scenarios. Yes, that's possible. But I feel like we should look at NFL players at some point who dislocated kneecaps and whether they've come back and been anywhere close to what they were. And that's all I'm saying. I hope he comes back, and I hope he plays better than he has now. I do. I just don't think that's a realistic scenario.
So if I could just kind of sum up what you would think would be the best scenario for the Vikings, because we all agree it's a shitty situation if he comes back and he's good. So for the Vikings right now, the best thing that can happen for them is that Bridgewater just goes away and they continue with Sam
No.
Bradford.
No. The best case scenario is if Bradford balls out, Bridgewater comes back 100% and plays better before. Now they created surplus value at a position of need. So then they could trade Bradford and they could get great value from Bradford and Bridgewater could step right in. That would be the best case scenario. That's also the most unrealistic scenario as well. I don't think that will happen.
I'll tell you one thing. If Sam Bradford gets another goddamn contract, I'm going to have some problems with the NFL. That's all I'm saying. I don't care. But is he the only guy I know in the NFL who does just enough to make teams want him? What does that do? He is like the Matt Castle of this damn league right now. I think he's a great quarterback. I do. I honestly believed in him when he was in St. Louis. But I'm sorry, but this guy does not play full seasons, and if he does, he plays averagely at best, yet he keeps getting these contracts. And then Allen just said he's only 30 years old. He's going to be able to do this for another decade.
I don't know about a decade.
Yeah, 7-8 years, something like that. I believe he can do that because he has the talent that just doesn't go away. He has great talent that doesn't go away. He just hasn't gotten the right situation. And if the Vikings are the right situation for him, I mean, look what it did for Brett Favre that one year.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay.
So just looking quickly just on Google at guys who have had dislocated kneecaps and torn ACLs in recent memory, Marcus Easley, who played for the Bills, out of the league. Ifo Ekpre-Alomu, who went to Oregon, I believe, was a huge name before he hurt his knee, is out of the league. And then, of course, we all know Marcus Lattimore, who had one of the most gruesome televised knee injuries I can remember. And
he had 2 of them in college before he ever got drafted.
He did.
He was done before he got there.
That's insane. He absolutely – oh, my God. Okay. All right.
I'm picturing it. It hurts my eyes just thinking about it.
Yeah. Now, obviously, none of those guys are quarterbacks, so it's hard to say if Teddy will be the same way. But those guys are not playing professional football right now. So,
when I say that, then I'm a hater.
I'm agreeing with you.
Okay.
Look at it this way. What did you name? You just named like 3 or 4 players, Alan, and we all know that more than 3 or 4 players have torn their ACLs, MCLs, broken their legs in the NFL. So you're talking about a very small percentage, and that's what I was arguing is that small percentage cannot be the norm, and we can't assume that he's going to fall into that small percentage. Is it possible? Yes. But we can't just assume that because a few players who actually had that similar injury haven't came back means that he won't.
But all we're doing is going by precedent. Those are the players that have had that injury.
You named 3 to 4 players.
But those are
the players that play the sport.
And dislocate their kneecap.
But not a lot of guys have that injury. So yeah,
I give you a list of 15 guys who tore their ACL this month. But you're talking about torn ACL and dislocated kneecap.
And a dislocated kneecap. So yes, the sample size is obvious. The sample size is obviously small, but that's all we have to go by.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is if the sample size is that small, how can you make a definite hypothesis about it? Like you can't if I'm doing a sample for anything, if I'm focus testing and I have less than 10 people, I can't say those are facts. I can't say that that's something I can build off of. And that's what I'm saying is that we don't have enough information to assume that he falls into that group. We really don't because like you said, there's only 3 or 4 cases.
But I don't think anybody was pushing anything as definite. We were just going by the injury itself. And then Allen looked up the history of players with that injury, and they're not in the league anymore. I think but I don't
think that has much correlation to Teddy Bridgewater's situation. The only thing is that because they had injuries doesn't mean that it's a similar situation. There's people in the world who have broken their kneecaps and haven't ever walked again. Does that mean he falls into that because he's a person? Like just drawing similarities doesn't mean that it's a correlation.
Yeah,
There's a
I don't
thing
think
called
that's
coincidence.
I don't
And
think that's the
similarities
same.
and coincidence doesn't equal correlation.
That's not the
You
same thing.
naming 3 players just because they were in the NFL and broke their knees and saying that, well, then he has to be something similar to them doesn't make correlation because, like you said, you named 3 or 4 players. And I know it's a freak injury, so there isn't precedence. Well, then go off of that. There really isn't precedence, and it's hard to compare them, and you really shouldn't compare them to, 1, players who don't play the same position, and 2, players who weren't at his caliber in the league when they had the injuries. So why are we making a comparison just because there's one similarity?
I agree with a lot of that. But the reality is what that tells you, if anything, is yes, obviously he plays a different position. Obviously he's not going to be needing his knee in the same way that they need their knees. But these guys could not recover to a point where they could actually attempt to play professional football. That has to tell you something. That's got to tell you something.
It tells me one thing. I know for a fact Lattimore, his knee was broken way before he got to the NFL, so I don't even care about that statistic.
That doesn't change the fact that he couldn't play football.
But that doesn't change that. Like, if he couldn't really play college football, how you expect him to play it?
Think about it. This guy had multiple knee injuries.
Perfect.
Anyone with multiple knee injuries will have a problem playing football.
Thomas Davis is playing football.
Saying what?
Thomas Davis is playing football. He's throwing both of his. He's thrown both of his ACLs 6 times each, and he's still playing ball.
And he switched positions.
So how does that advocate they're tearing your
right?
So how does if you're saying that a guy's torn each leg 6 times each, how does that advocate that this one guy tearing it one time won't be able to play football?
They don't have the same injury, P. That's what we're saying. Like, the injuries.
Point. No one has the same injuries. Like you said, you can't find anyone with ACL and kneecap. So you don't have any actual.
I just gave you 3 names.
You said kneecaps. You didn't say ACL and kneecaps.
I did.
Bruh. I know it's early over there. I know it's early.
You're telling me these 3 players is what you're basing what you think will happen to Teddy Bridgewater.
I'm not saying what I think. I'm just saying.
You said reality, like it was a fact. You said in the reality.
The last 3 guys who've had the same issue he has right now aren't playing football. They're doing the same thing we're doing right now.
I can name. I mean, if I go and look up medical history, I could probably name 16,000 people who've broken their knees and aren't playing football. That doesn't make it relevant.
How many of them were playing football beforehand?
I don't know. 1,800 of them. I mean, it happens. It's an injury. But I'm saying that the sample size is not large enough for you to say that, oh, well, they don't have this, so he doesn't have this. Oh, it must be the same. I'm saying that you don't have enough evidence. There's not enough proof there by itself with you naming less than 5 people for me to say, you know what, then that's probably what's going to happen to him.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Come on, yo.
You can't convince me that that's a logical way to make a conclusion.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
You can't.
All right.
I feel like we went over on time anyways.
Man, we've been went over on time.
We just went for an hour on one topic. He talking about some damn we over on time.
Maybe a couple minutes.
Can we talk about? I don't even remember what we're supposed to talk about. Like at this point,
we're supposed to talk about Kaepernick.
Yeah, let's move on. We'll come back.
Yeah, thank you, P.
We really should blame the Vikings. That's where it all started. Sam Bradford. Me and Sam Bradford got beef right now.
Okay.
That might have made me a little biased. I'm so anti-Sam Bradford, I guess.